There is a fire inside every human being, not a fire that warms, not a fire that brings light, but a fire the ancestors called Inatiko ni Imole, the flame that burns without light. This is the fire of craving, the hunger for immediate pleasure, the restless itch that whispers to your mind. Choose comfort, choose ease, choose escape. Today, people call it dopamine, social media addiction, instant gratification, or the brain's endless desire for stimulation. But long before psychology, before Carl Jung, before any dopamine detox, the elders of West Africa already understood this flame. They warned, the man who feeds his quiet fire with sweetness will one day be devoured by it. And so this story, my story, begins with a war. Not a war against enemies, not against society, but against my own mind. A war to learn how to do hard things, how to enjoy difficult things, how to trick my brain into loving discipline, to become, as the proverb says, better than yesterday. And this journey, though buried in modern psychology, is older than the drums, older than the village, older than the ancestors themselves. This is the philosophy of tricking the mind, reimagined through the wisdom of Africa's ancient spirit. Chapter 1. The Brain That Feared the Path. I used to think discipline was a matter of motivation. Wake up early, watch self-improvement videos, listen to motivational speeches, repeat affirmations, feel inspired. But my brain didn't care. The moment I sat in silence, the phone called my name. TikTok, Instagram, WhatsApp, YouTube, endless distraction, endless escape. I thought I was weak, lazy, broken. But then I learned something powerful, a lesson shared by both modern neuroscience and ancient African thought. Your mind is not your servant. It is your oldest trickster. In Jungian psychology, they call this the shadow, the part of you that obeys ancient instincts and fears effort. In Yoruba philosophy, they call it Esu, the spirit who stands at the crossroads, always tempting, always distracting. In both traditions, the message is the same. If you do not master your mind will master you. My problem wasn't discipline. My problem was the brain's wiring. Deep inside the skull, the brain is constantly chasing dopamine, reward, pleasure, ease. It fears effort because effort is energy. Energy is danger. Danger threatens survival. To the ancient human brain, struggle means death. And that is why you can want to be productive, but still not know how to be more productive. Why you want to do hard things, but your brain still avoids them. Why you want to be better, but your actions stay the same. Our ancestors understood this psychology intuitively. They used proverbs instead of research papers. They used metaphors instead of MRI scans. They said, the body desires rest, the spirit desires comfort, but destiny requires a journey. Chapter 2. The first trick. Starving the fire. Modern people call it dopamine detox, dopamine fast, dopamine reset. But the idea is ancient. The Monde griots call it closing the calabash, the act of shutting out the world to reclaim control over the inner fire. The idea is simple. To enjoy hard things, first remove the easy things. The brain compares everything. If your reward system is addicted to scrolling, to fast entertainment, to immediate pleasure, then work will always feel like pain. Even reading, even studying, even creating art becomes unbearable. So I did the unthinkable. I starved my hunger. I woke up one morning and refused to touch my phone for hours. I let silence surround me. I let boredom return to my life. At first, it felt like torture. My brain screamed for stimulation. The shadow whispered, just check one notification. Just 5 minutes. You deserve a break. But I remembered an African proverb. The child who has tasted too much honey cannot drink water again. My brain had tasted too much honey. Sweetness, escape, dopamine. It was time to drink water again. It was time to return my mind to the simplicity of existence. Chapter 3. The second trick. Making hard things small. When I first tried to do difficult things, I failed. Study for an hour, fail. Read for 30 minutes, fail. Exercise for 20 minutes, fail. The brain hates big tasks, not because they are hard, but because the mind fears losing energy. The Akan elders said, no one climbs a mountain in a single breath. Modern psychology calls this chunking, breaking hard things into tiny steps. But the ancestral version goes deeper. Take one step. Let the spirits see your effort. They will move the mountain. So I tricked my brain. I didn't promise myself discipline. I promised myself one small action. Write for 5 minutes. Study one paragraph. Read one page. Do 5 push-ups. Learn one line. And every time the brain said, that's easy. We can do that. And once I began, the fear dissolved. The shadow weakened. Motion replaced hesitation. This is the ancient trick. Make the path small enough that the mind does not fear it. Chapter 4. The third trick. The path of the drum. Discipline cannot survive on force alone. It requires rhythm. The drum in West African culture is not just an instrument. It is time itself. Pattern, consistency, life. The elders said, one who keeps the drum beat controls the dance. In modern self-improvement terms, if you control your routine, you control your behavior. Every choice you make is guided by the rhythm of your life. If your morning begins with distraction, you will spend the day chasing ghosts. If your morning begins with purpose, you will walk the day with clarity. So I established a sacred rhythm, a pattern deeper than motivation. Wake up, no phone, drink water, sit in silence. One hard task. This became my drumbeat, the beat that guided the day, the beat that told my brain, this is who we are now, this is the path. And over time, the mind obeyed. Chapter 5. Dark Psychology and the Shadow. Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will rule your life and you will call it fate. The ancestors said the same thing differently. The shadow you refuse to face will become your master. My shadow fed on. Procrastination, social media addiction, scrolling mindless comfort, avoiding discomfort, chasing dopamine. Every time I avoided effort, my shadow grew stronger. Every time I resisted temptation, my shadow grew weaker. Here is the truth most people never learn. You cannot kill your shadow, but you can turn it into your servant. How? By tricking your brain. By making your low-energy self accept a task so small that it can't refuse. By turning difficult things into sources of reward, not punishment. By letting your mind taste the joy of progress, mastery, and pride. This is the real dopamine detox. Not eliminating pleasure, but changing what gives you pleasure. Chapter 6. The fourth trick. Reward. The warrior, not the child. The brain has 2 voices. 1. The child seeks comfort, dopamine, escape, softness, ease. 2. The warrior seeks purpose, struggle, mastery, legacy, honor. In the village, the elders taught young boys, feed the child too often and you will raise a coward. Feed the warrior and you will raise a king. Modern psychology says the same. Your reward system must celebrate effort, not comfort. The moment I started rewarding myself after doing hard things, my life changed. Small wins became satisfying, effort became pleasurable, discipline became rewarding. I wasn't forcing myself anymore. I was retraining my dopamine system. This is the essence of tricking my brain. Enjoy hard things. Enjoy difficult things. Make difficult things easy. Self-improvement, motivation, be better than yesterday. The warrior inside me learned to love the path. Chapter 7. The fifth trick. Return to the river. When the mind becomes chaotic, when the world becomes loud, when discipline weakens, the elders say, return to the river. The river represents reflection, stillness, truth. In neuroscience terms, this is meditation, silence, mindfulness, controlling attention, resetting dopamine baselines. When I sat in silence, away from the noise, I discovered a truth. My brain didn't hate doing hard things. It simply forgot how to enjoy them. When you let your mind rest, it remembers the beauty of slowness, the sweetness of progress, the calm of effort. Silence is not empty. Silence is medicine. Chapter 8. The village of two paths. In Igbo cosmology, your life has two paths. Uzomo, the path of the spirit. Uzo-uwa, the path of the world. One path is discipline, purpose, growth. The other is distraction, pleasure, ease. Every day you stand at the crossroads. Every choice is a drumbeat. Every action shapes your destiny. In modern terms, you choose between instant dopamine or long-term meaning. You choose between social media addiction or becoming the person you were meant to be. Your life is the sum of these choices. As the proverb says, when you choose the path, you choose the destination. Chapter 9. The final trick, self-rebirth. At the end of this journey, when the tricks became habits, when discipline became natural, when my brain finally obeyed, I realized the greatest truth of all. You do not trick your brain to become someone new. You trick your brain to return to who you were meant to be. The ancestors believed every soul has a purpose given before birth. Not a job, not a career, but a destiny, a reason for being. Your mind resists hard things because it fears failure. But your spirit craves hard things because it knows mastery is your path. You were born for struggle. You were built for discipline. You were shaped for greatness. Your job is not to create this destiny. Your job is to remember it. And that is the real meaning of this journey. The closing message: feed the fire of purpose. If you have listened this far, the ancestors have one final message for you. The fire inside you will burn forever. Feed it with purpose, or it will consume you in pleasure. Trick your brain. Starve your distractions. Make hard things small. Reward the warrior. Return to silence. Walk the path. Obey the drum. Become the person your past self prayed you would become. Become someone better than yesterday. This is not psychology. This is not motivation. This is not self-help. This is your destiny. And the journey begins not with strength, not with courage, but with one small decision. Today, I choose the harder path.